So my computer stopped working last night, so I haven't been able to put up the video, which is really upsetting. And if something fucked up happens and the computer is dead, then I lose everything, including 4 videos that I haven't finished yet. So that's really frustrating. I'm doing what the Apple website says, and it's doing a safe startup, and I'm able to see what it's doing, but it's been stuck on continuing for a while, so I think that means something bad is happening, but I don't know. And I'm leasing a car today. If my computer breaks at the same time, I'm gonna have no money at all. Not a happy camper this morning. This is my new car. My new car. Oh my god. Hey, so we just got out of the Apple store. Genius bar. It is full like crazy today. But I'm gonna have to come back in 5 or 6 days. They're gonna have to send my stuff out to get a new car done, which sucks. But anyway, sorry, there was a cute baby saying hi to me. Anyway, so I guess I'm gonna have to come back, which sucks. But thankfully I have Crystal computer, so I can still work. Well, anyway, I guess we're gonna go home. The plans fell through for the movie, so we're just gonna go to sleep.
Hi everyone, so we are back to our normal routine. I'm wearing my blue I Test Drove New Again t-shirt. It's pretty cool. And we are here to deliver to you the epicness that is question of the day. So today's question of the day is going to be, okay, so have you guys ever, I don't know, you saw it on TV, there's a marathon or something, or maybe now that Netflix is available, that's how you were able to watch it, but have you guys ever, started watching a TV program, or, even something that you've seen before, and you just couldn't get enough of it, and you just kept watching it over and over and over and over and over until you had literally marathons, non-stop marathons, hours passed and you didn't even realize it, and you're like, damn, I should do stuff now or something. Well, that's the question of the day. Have you ever had an incident like that? And if so, tell us what happened.
Wait, let me go first.
Okay, Becca's gonna go first.
Hi. So, I've always been the kind of person that has long marathons. Always. Because no one ever stopped me when I was a kid. I was just like, okay, I'm going to see this whole series. Well, the first time I got really into it was Alias, which was a spy show starring Jennifer Gardner. Well, that show went from really different from season 1 to the last season. Seriously, it's such a different show. But anyway, I got the first season 1 year for Christmas, and I was like, man, this is interesting. Because, I literally bought the season. I had Santa get me the season for Christmas because I was interested in it. I had never actually seen it. So, I got the season, and me and my mom watched it non-stop for 3 or 4 days, and we saw the whole season. We were just kept going, going. Yeah, but that was later on.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I was like, man, I got some Christmas money. Want to go to Best Buy and buy season 2? And she's like, yes! And then we, did another marathon, saw season 2. And then later on, Chris bought me, I think, 3 and 4. Or something like that, because I saw it after the show had been out for a while. And then I just kept going and going and going. And then I did the same thing again on VH1. I think it was VH1, when they had marathons of America's Next Top Model, and they would show a whole season in between 2 or 3 days. So then I would see, whole seasons of the show and catch up. But anyway, I do that all the time. Oh, and Sailor Moon. I saw the whole Sailor Moon series.
With her.
But the Japanese, it's Japanese, right?
Yes.
But the Japanese one with the subtitles.
Japanese anime.
Anyway. With the subtitles, and we saw it over the course of a month. Me and Lina, we saw the whole series.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I'm like that with books too. I read Harry Potter. You remember when I got Harry Potter?
I thought you were gonna say, that's awesome. I thought you were gonna go like this. That's awesome.
No.
And just shut down. And okay, it's
But
my turn.
one more thing, because I'm like this with books too. If it's something I really enjoy, when the last Harry Potter came out, Chris took me to the store so I could get it at 9 a.m. and I literally read it from 9 a.m. till 4 a.m. the next day.
I was there.
And I finished the whole book.
I didn't have well, we were girlfriend and boyfriend at the time. I didn't have a girlfriend that day.
All I did was read and go to the bathroom, and Chris would bring me food.
Yeah.
I did not stop. And I was just randomly crying. And Chris was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "It's so sad."
It was
Oh,
more
God.
like, because, you know, I'd never seen her do, like, her obsessive reading stuff before. So, like, literally, we just came back and she read in the way home, and then she just kind of, like, you know, went to her little corner and started reading. And then we were sitting there and, like, you know, I was playing games, I was doing stuff. And I'm like, oh, hey, babe, do you want to do something? She's like, yeah, whatever. And, like, I was like, oh, okay. And then, you know, I would go and I would, like, make nachos or something. I'm like, man, you want some of these nachos? Yeah, I'll have some later. Like, she was just reading, like, the book. And then, like, periodically, it was kind of like, I'd be like, hey. You know, like, it was just kind of like, are you okay? Like, what are you doing? And she just kept reading and reading and reading. But, did you want to add anything else? Okay. So anyway, okay, I will describe mine, because I've only had two, and one of them is very recent, as in yesterday, recent. But the first one was actually, see, I was never like Becca, actually. I hated doing stuff like that. I always liked taking my time, and, like, I was the type of kid that would buy, like, you know, who would get obsessed with something and then say, okay, I'm going to see an episode a day or something, so it could, like, stretch out and stuff like that. I would have, like, these epically long marathons, and I would plan it out and, like, do this whole thing.
Yeah, and you still do that.
Yeah, and I still do that now, but there have been some exceptions. Exception number one was when 2010 first started, which was a year ago. Well, actually, it's almost 2 years ago now, because we're about to enter 2012. But anyway, when 2010 first started, I thought it was so cool that it was like a new decade. I'm like, man, the 2000s are over. Now it's like the 2010s. And I was thinking back, and I was going, god damn, like, there's a lot of stuff I did in the 2000s. Like, a lot of people, when you think, oh, the 2000s, they're not that retro. Like, you know, they're not even retro. They're not that old. But if you think back to 2000, dude, I was, like, in middle school in 2000 or something like that. Like, 2000 was a long time ago. And, like, you think 2001, and you're like, dude, like, there's a movie called 2001: A Space Odyssey. It did not look like that in 2001. Like, you know, time has passed. Like, by the way, Becca's sleeping. Anyway, but, like, time has passed. And so, I fell in love with a VH1 series called, it's the I Love series. They did a bunch of them. They did I Love the 70s, I Love the 80s, I Love the 90s, and then they did I Love the New Millennium, but they only covered 2000 to 2007, because they made this in 2008, and I'm hoping they go back and they do, like, a part 2, and they cover the whole thing. But I fell in love with that show, because, and the thing was, you couldn't find it, because VH1 aired it, like, once every blue moon, so, like, you had to hope it was on. It wasn't on Netflix, you couldn't buy it anywhere, like, it was impossible to see, so, like, I think they had something called the best of I Love the 70s or 80s, 90s, whatever, and I'll just watch it, and in particular, the 90s is what captured me, because I was a child born in the 80s, but I was a child of the 90s, like, I kind of, like, absorbed it, so, like, really, that's where I kind of, like, stumbled in and whatever, so I had this obsession of just, like, watching all these stuff, and it was great, and I hope now, like, that's 2012, they start making, like, a sequel to I Love the New Millennium, so I can kind of capture the end of it. Anyway, so that was, like, the first time I kind of had, like, that obsession, but I could barely obsess over it. Right now, my current obsession is How I Met Your Mother. It was so funny, because a friend of mine recommended to see Arrested Development, and, like, the other day, like, last night or something, Becca was like, oh, we should watch something on Netflix, like a show, and I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. And, like, she wanted to see How I Met Your Mother, and I want to see Arrested Development. And I was kind of getting sleepy, so I was like, you know what, go ahead and see How I Met Your Mother. Clearly, you're more awake than me. You'll probably appreciate it more. I don't want to put on a show you're not even interested in, and I fall asleep during it. So we put that, but I immediately got so into it, and I woke up, and we ended up watching like 5 episodes or something.
And it was like already past midnight.
Yeah, and like today, we just saw, like, I'm on episode 11 of season 1, and we've just been watching them continuously.
We just started watching it, like I said, at midnight yesterday, and we're on episode 11.
So it was great. I've enjoyed it so much, and I advise, it's just, they're so charming. And I hope the seasons continue to get better, because I'm watching season 1, which came out in 2005, so, you know, I don't know if maybe it was one of those shows where it got worse and worse later on.
No, I've seen some recent episodes randomly, and it's good.
Okay.
I just see it out of order.
Yes, but we have different tastes, my dear. Anyway, Lina, do you want to answer a question of the day? Look like Assassin's Creed right now. It's badass. Hey.
I guess.
I do that. I do it for many shows.
Go ahead, Lina. Camera's rolling.
I'm struggling with my zipper.
Much like me every night. Much like me, Lina. Every night.
I really am struggling with this.
Good night. Sorry.
This shit's stink.
Good night.